from inside of this blue job ticket and make sure that it matches up correctly with what it is that we're supposed to be running. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and use one of these pieces, and when we come to this feeder, all we want to do is simply place this piece here centered with these two rollers. And what we want is we want to go ahead and guide it up right in the middle of both these pieces so that it gets a nice even pull all the way across this machine. After this is good, we want to put this piece underneath this feeder and kind of run it back and forth a little bit using this wheel right here to set the tension. And you set the tension away from it so it gets looser to the right, or you go tighter to the left. What you want to do now is you want to grab this back guide and move it to the back of this piece. And if the camera can come over here and see this, it could just simply lay it right here over the back guide, just so it kind of touches the end piece of it, just so it has enough to lift up and feed forward. You want to go ahead and move this feeder. Now when you come over here, this is the conveyor control, and this is the feeder control. This feeder, you make it move forward and you stop it right here. Now what we want to do is we want to line up our conveyor table so that where this piece is coming out lines up exactly with these belts here on the conveyor. I go ahead and I grab these two plastic guides. And what you want to do with these bottom plastic guide is that you want to lay it in here, holding up the piece and lining up with this belt here. You want to have a nice straight edge on this bottom one, or at least I like to have a nice straight edge on this bottom part. And I use any piece of material. You can use a ruler or whatever you want to make sure that the front, middle, and back side of this all lines up. You go ahead and you tape this down, and you put the tape down in a 90-degree angle just to hold down the front and back end of this. And then you move this belt on the inside over so that you can put the tape also on the inside so that nothing catches on anything. And I repeat the same thing on the other side. The only difference is on the other side is when I move the piece, I put it on the front side of the guide. And you want to give it a little bit of space, maybe 1/8 of an inch on each side, depending on what it is that you're running. Usually 1/8 of an inch is good for almost all jobs, except for something that needs to stay within a certain area of print. What we're going to do here is we're going to give it 1/8 on the bottom and 1/8 on top. We're going to make it get nice and tight on the front side of this, both of these guides. And what we want to do is open up the back side so that it has space to move. And now when I say space to move is because if you come back here to the feeder, any piece can come out a little bit far to the left or far to the right. So you want to adjust for that kind of movement. After this piece leaves in here and lands inside this guide with this top side kind of funneled in a little bit, it should feed in here and then straighten out at the edge right before it hits the printer. When it comes to the landing table, all you simply want to do is run one piece all the way through your conveyor and watch how it lands. What you don't want it to do is land on any of the belts or anything that will obstruct it from landing correctly. In this case and everything, the first piece was landing on the second belt. So all we want to do is we want to grab a regular piece of material or piece of plastic, anything basically to help it not hit this piece.